Shalom, everyone. We have a imperative message today. We're going to go into the writings of the Apostle Paul. The New Testament is composed of letters to churches written by the Apostle Paul. So it's a very prominent doctrine or prominent influence in the New Testament. The Christian church is based and founded upon the Apostle Paul, his writings. And contrary to what any of you want to believe, it's not founded upon the gospel of Christ. It's not founded upon that. It's founded upon misinterpretations of the letters of Paul. That's what it's founded upon. And I'm going to show you how the Most High purposely put a spirit on Paul to write his letters in a format that would be a stumbling block to those in the last days. It would be a dividing factor to those that would get into the kingdom of heaven and those that would be that would go into the lake of fire. And a lot of people are going to fall into this trap. I'm going to show you how exactly he did this and why he did this. And it's going to be very clear by the time we go through this lesson. So I'm going to need you to follow me and be attentive. I'm going to need your ears to be attentive. You're going to have to pay attention and follow me. We're going to start from the beginning or near the beginning, and then we're going to work our way up and push to the letters of Paul. And I'm going to show you how the Most High always put traps everywhere. He always put traps to find out where your heart is. And with the letters of Paul, it has nothing to do with his letters per se. It has everything to do with your heart and how you are going to try to interpret his letters to do your will or to do the Most High's will. That's what we're going to find out today. So I'm going to need you to stick with me and push through. I'm Brother Yerushalayim. This is the Bible Unlocked, the trap of Paul's epistles. Deuteronomy 8, verse 2. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no. So the Most High is saying right here that he had the children of Israel wander in the wilderness 40 years on purpose to prove them, to see if we would keep his commandments or not. He had the children of Israel wander in the wilderness on purpose for 40 years. It don't take 40 years to walk from Egypt to the land of Israel. It does not take 40 years to walk from that small stretch of space. So the Most High did this on purpose. It was a test. When it says prove thee, that means to test you, to see what you were going to do in different circumstances, to see if you would keep my commandments or if you're going to go off and go do your own thing. That's what the whole reason that's the whole thing behind the 40 years was. To see if you were going to keep some commandments that I gave to you, or if you're going to go off and go worship somebody else. What did we do? We brought out the golden calf, start worshiping that. We start complaining in the wilderness. So this is what happened as a result of that. Follow me. Deuteronomy 1 verse 34. And the Lord heard the voice of your words and was wroth, and sware, saying, surely there shall none of these men of this evil generation see that good land, which I swear to give unto your fathers. So the Most High said, none of the generation, he's referring to the ones that came out of the land of Egypt, the 600,000 souls plus that came on foot out of the land of Egypt. He says, none of these people are going into the land. Why? Because we were complaining. We were not keeping God's commandments. We wanted to follow other gods in our heart. We still had the gods of Egypt in our heart. Save Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, he shall see it, and to him will I give the land that he hath trodden upon, and to his children, because he hath wholly followed the Lord. So the Most High said, Caleb, he's coming in. Caleb was one out of the two that from the original stock that came out of Egypt that made it into the land of Israel. Because Caleb, he kept the commandments. He didn't go off and do his own thing. He stuck within the guidelines. He didn't fall for the trap. Remember, the 40 years in the wilderness was that was a test. Caleb didn't fall for it. Also, the Lord was angry with me for your sake, saying, Thou shalt not go in thither. But what happened to Moses? He didn't even make it into the land of Israel. Moses did all these miracles. He did all this work to get the children of Israel out of Egypt. And guess what? All that because he didn't endure to the end. That's why the scriptures tell you he that endured to the end. Moses didn't make it. He made it close to the end, but he disobeyed the Most High. He did his own thing. And for that, the Most High had him go up on a mountain. He said, look to the east, the west, the north to south. He said, look at all this beautiful land. Guess what? You're not going in. That's what he told Moses. Moses just got to see the land with his eyes, but he didn't pass the test, so he didn't get to go in, as great as he was. But Joshua, the son of Nun, which standeth before thee, he shall go in thither. Encourage him, for he shall cause Israel to inherit it. Moreover, your little ones, which ye said should be a prey, and your children, which in that day had no knowledge between good and evil, they shall go in thither, and unto them will I give it, and they shall possess it. So who got to go into the land? It was Joshua and Caleb from the original stock. They're the only ones that bridged the gap from Egypt to the land of Israel. Nobody else made it. Everybody else got the Most High killed. He killed everyone in the wilderness. That's the whole point of the 40 years. That many people did not pass the test when the Most High left us in the wilderness to prove us if we would keep his commandments. We didn't follow it. But he let the new generation, the ones of those that came from Egypt that had kids, he let all their kids come into the land with Joshua and Caleb. So now we're coming into the land with a new generation of people. And now we're going in there to possess it. And watch how the Most High still going to have a test for these people that go in. Nobody is left without a test. It's all a test to see where your heart is going to be at. So watch what happens next once we get into the land with this new generation of people. Judges chapter 3, verse 1. Now these are the nations which the Lord left to prove Israel by them. The Most High, when we came into the land of Israel, we were knocking off nations left and right. We were knocking off many nations, but the Most High purposely left nations in there to prove us. And it's going to explain as we go down. He left nations on purpose. That's why all the inhabitants of the land of Israel never got pushed out of that land. He did that on purpose. It's not that because we didn't have enough power to get these nations out. The Most High left them there on purpose to prove us or to test us. Watch. Namely, 5 lords of the Philistines, and all the Canaanites, and the Sidonians, and the Hivites that dwelt in Mount Lebanon, from Mount Baal-Hermon unto the entering in of Hamath. And they were to prove Israel by them, to know whether they would hearken unto the commandments of the Lord, which he commanded their fathers by the hand of Moses. This is the reason why he left those nations, to see if we're going to listen to what he commanded us in the wilderness. He wants to see where your heart is really at. He's looking down. He's like, I'm going to leave these Canaanites and these other nations in the land, because I want to see what these children of Israel are going to do. I want to know where their heart is genuinely at. If they're going to keep my commandments, or if they're going to look at the Canaanites and these other people and how they worship their God, and they're going to be curious and start dabbling into their the other nations' philosophies. I want to see what they're going to do. So the Most High is just sitting back and is on his throne. He's like, let me see what's going to happen. And the children of Israel dwelt among the Canaanites, Hittites, and Amorites, and the Perizzites, and Hivites, and Jebusites. And they took their daughters to be their wives, and gave their daughters to their sons, and served their gods. And we started giving our sons and our daughters over to the Canaanites and the Hivites and these other these are authentic Africans. These are Africans that come from the seed of Ham. As soon as we came into the land, the first thing we start doing is mixing amongst the Africans. We started taking their daughters. We started giving them our daughters. They start taking our sons and vice versa. The Most High told us in Deuteronomy 7, he told us not to give our daughters over to these nations, because these nations were dabbling in other types of philosophies that were against what the Most High commanded us to do. They were dealing with homosexuality, witchcraft, Satan worship. They were dealing with all that, burning and sacrificing their kids in the fire. They were dealing with all these evils that the Most High said for us not to be doing. And we started serving their gods. We started getting curious. Well, let me see what these guys are doing over here, the Canaanites. Oh, that looks interesting right there. That the Canaanite God says that they can they don't have to keep any laws. That they can just go off and do whatever they want. That's what that God says. I like that God right there. So I'm gonna go do that. Follow me, people. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and forget the Lord their God, and served Baalim and the groves. And we forgot the Most High, and we started serving everyone else's gods. That's what we did. Out of curiosity, because it's appealing. All the gods of the nations have appealing gods. For some reason, we always don't want to serve the God of the Hebrews. We always want to go serve somebody else's gods. They're appealing. Like the God of Christianity, that God is appealing to a lot of our people and a lot of people out there in the world. It's very appealing. He tells you don't have to keep any commandments. He tells you can do whatever you want. It's a free-for-all. So it's all the gods of the nations have always been appealing. Therefore, the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hand of Chusharishathaim, king of Mesopotamia. And the children of Israel served Chusharishathaim 8 years. So since we didn't want to listen to the Most High, he sent the king of Mesopotamia to come down there and start enslaving us. This was the beginning. This is the first captivity in the land of Israel. After we just came out of captivity in Egypt. Soon as we got into the land, slavery. Because we don't want to listen. We're always trying to go after somebody else's gods, and we never want to listen to the Most High's commandments. That's how we ended up in all the various captivities, and eventually into the last captivity today, starting with in the transatlantic slave trade. That's how we ended up here, not obeying and listening to somebody else trying to move us away from the commandments. So you can see clearly that the Most High continues. He puts tests out there to see how we're going to deal with these tests, how we're going to deal with these circumstances. He always puts them out there. It even goes further. It even goes beyond this. It goes all the way back to Adam. When he made Adam, he didn't just give Adam reign and let him do whatever he wants. He gave him a choice. He put the tree of knowledge of good and evil in the midst there. Now, did the Most High have to put that tree there? No, but he put it there to test Adam to see where his heart was at. Everything is a test. He wants to see what you're going to do. He don't want to make the decision for you. He wants to see what you are going to do. What are you going to do when something that is against what he told you to do is appealing? What is your heart going to tell you to do? And what is your reactions going to be? You can see that we've always failed the test that the Most High has put out there. Always. And it gets better. It's going to show you that the Most High had more in store for us. Follow along. Jeremiah 6, verse 19. Hear, O earth, behold, I will bring evil upon this people, even the fruit of their thoughts, because they have not hearkened unto my words, nor to my law, but rejected it. The Most High said he was going to bring evil upon this people. What people? He's talking about the children of Israel. Evil upon this people because we continue to not want to listen to the Most High's commandments. It's repetitive. It's the same thing over and over. We keep finding new ways to get out of listening to the Most High's commandments. So he said he's going to bring evil. What was the evil that he ended up bringing? The many captivities and slavery. That's the evil that the Most High brings. Black on black crime and hatred amongst his own people. That's the evil that he brought. Ghettos, poverty, welfare. This is the evil that he brought because we didn't want to listen and we never passed his test. When he proved us, when he was leaving things out there, obstacles out there to prove us. To what purpose cometh there to me incense from Sheba, and the sweet came from a far country? Your burnt offerings are not acceptable, nor your sacrifices sweet unto me. The Most High didn't want any burnt offerings. He didn't want any of that because we were worshiping him with lip service, but we didn't want to keep no commandments. We were playing the role from the outer look. Looked like we were playing the role, but within, we wasn't keeping no commandments, and we didn't desire to. We wanted to follow everyone else. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, I give my life to you. Living sacrifice, I am brand new. Praise you, praise you. Giving you the highest praise you, praise you. Giving you the highest praise. No matter what they say, I'll be giving you the highest praise you, praise you. Giving you the highest praise. It's better than sacrifice. Yahushua's coming back, so be wise. Never thought I'd find peace, never thought I would be good enough for his love. Never thought forgiveness, never thought that I'd feel his unconditional love. Gotta walk this walk, endure to the end. Repent and turn away from my life of sin. Had friends fall away. What can I say? This set up our life, it ain't easy. I'm about my father's business, I am. All praises to Abba and the Lamb. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Yahushua's coming back, so be wise. Be wise. Praise you, praise you. Giving you the highest praise you, praise you. Giving you the highest praise. No matter what they say, I'll be giving you the highest praise you, praise you. Giving you the highest praise. I'm just trying to serve the Abba, yeah. I'm just trying to get farther, yeah. I'm just doing whatever I need, taking them to the play. They wanna know if I'ma make it tomorrow, but I know I can't make it without you. When I'm saying you my healer, my doctor, and I know that I can make it. These struggles, they wanna take me, but I never let them catch me without you. I keep praying daily, I'm on my knees, asking Father forgive me. My tears, my seed watering every time he near me. I can feel it, his spirit, take my vessel and steer it. Most I've host, my only boast, the storm is clearing. Now I'm seeing it clearly, the vision you give it. Your approach over my life, humble beginnings. Said you protect me long as I feel your name, I'm winning. At the top, the light on the hill is never hidden. It's better than sacrifice.